Hey, want to know a secret? I know the recipe for how to build a whole planet. It's true. We're going to find out how our awesome Earth was made. Okay, are you ready? Let's go.
So, first things first, how do you even build a planet? You can't just go to the store and buy a planet-making kit, right? Nope. All the ingredients are just floating around out there in space. And the story of how they came together is, whoa, it's amazing. Here's the super secret recipe. It's only 4 steps. First, you start with a whole bunch of sparkly stardust. Then, you add a little bit of gravity. Step 3 is my favorite. You just smash everything together. And for step 4, you just, let it cool down for a few million years. Easy peasy, right? Maybe not. Okay, let's get comfy for story time. Once upon a time, way before any people or dinosaurs or anything, there was just a big, giant, swirly cloud of dust. And when I say way back, I mean it. We're talking 4.6 billion years ago. That's not like 100 or even 1,000. It's like a bajillion zillion years ago. So long ago. So after our sun turned on, poof, it had all this leftover stuff floating around it, a huge spinning cloud of gas and dust called the solar nebula. You can think of it like the sun's cosmic cookie crumbs, and those crumbs were the #1 ingredient for our planet. This is where gravity comes into play. It started making all the little bits of dust and tiny rocks bump into each other. Boop! And they stuck together. And then those bigger bits grabbed more bits and got bigger and bigger and bigger, just like rolling a giant snowball, but in space. This fancy growing process is called accretion. And now, for the most exciting, most dramatic part of the whole story. Things are about to get really messy. It's time for the Great Space Smash-Up! So there was our little baby Earth, what some grown-ups call a protoplanet. It was just floating around, gobbling up space dust, and getting bigger, just minding its own business. And then, it got a visitor. A really rude one. Another planet, a big one, named Theia, came flying through space right toward our baby Earth, and kablamo! They crashed. This was the biggest crash our planet has ever seen. Scientists call it the most energetic event in Earth's history, which is just a grown-up way of saying it was the loudest, biggest, smashiest smash-up ever. The crash was so huge that it didn't just make a crater. Oh no, it melted and poofed both planets into a giant, spinning donut made of hot, melty rock vapor. A space donut. How silly is that? And get this. Guess what started growing inside that hot, puffy space donut? Something big and round, and as it all cooled down, it became the moon, our moon. It was literally born from the giant crash that made our Earth into a donut. Whoa! Okay, so after that crazy smash-up, our Earth was, well, a total mess. It wasn't our nice blue and green home yet. It was a glowing, red-hot, super angry-looking ball of lava. So, why was it so hot and grumpy? Well, for 3 reasons. First, gravity was squeezing it super tight. Second, zillions of space rocks were still crashing into it all the time. Ouch. And third, there was all this zappy radioactive stuff deep inside, making everything even hotter. So basically, the whole entire planet was covered in a giant ocean. But it wasn't an ocean of water, it was an ocean of melty, gooey, bubbling magma. You could definitely not go for a swim in that. After a few million years of being a hot mess, things started to settle down a bit. The Earth began to get organized. It was time to make some layers, kind of like a cake. You can think of the melty Earth like a big smoothie that has all sorts of stuff in it. If you let a smoothie just sit there, what happens? All the heavy bits sink to the bottom, right? Well, that's exactly what happened here. All the super heavy stuff like iron went whee all the way down to the middle of the planet to make the core. And all the lighter rocky stuff floated up to the top. And that cooled down to make the crunchy outside part that we live on. That's the crust. So now our planet has layers, but it's still super hot and totally dry. But that's all about to change. It's time to add water. Splish, splash. You know, way back then, during a time called the Hadean Eon, Earth was, well, it was yucky. Super hot, no good air to breathe, and it was raining rocks. Can you imagine? But look at it now. The temperature is just right, we've got lots of air, and it rains water. What a great makeover. So, where did all that water come from? Well, it was a two-part special delivery. First, volcanoes all over the planet started burping out tons and tons of steam. And second, icy comets and asteroids from way out in space came and crashed here, bringing lots of frozen water with them, like a cosmic delivery service.
And ta-da! That's the recipe. After all the dust, the gravity, the smashing, the melting, the cooling, and finally, all the water, our amazing planet was finally ready.
Just look at that. After all that noisy, messy, crazy creation, something so beautiful came out of it. The blue oceans, the white swirly clouds. It finally started to look like our home.
So it took 4.6 billion years of cosmic cooking and crashing and cooling to make our wonderful home. Isn't that the coolest story ever? It really makes you wonder,